folks, I've had a couple of people ask me to do a review of the Marshall DSL40CR, the amp that I just got. I actually just gigged with it yesterday. So I'm going to run through some tones, show you what the features are of the amp, and I'll try with a couple of different guitars, a single coil and a humbucker guitar, and yeah, check it out. So looking at the rear of the amp, you can see there's the connection to the speaker. The speaker that is in there is a Celestion. They call it a Celestion V-type. There's your 8 ohm and 4 ohm outputs if you want to run an external speaker and just use it as a head. What's new on this model that the last one didn't have, it's got an emulated out, which I've tried, and it sounds pretty good. There's also an audio in that you can plug in outside sources and just use it to play your music. There's your foot switch, the effects loop. It also has a MIDI as well. What's cool about this particular amp is it's got the vintage grill cloth and Marshall logo. You can get this amp with the black with the white Marshall. They just came out with this new grill cloth and logo very recently. So, but both amps are the same. They're both DSL40CRs, and they have the same features. So, all right. So here we go. So starting on this end, you've got your power. You've got your standby. The black is in the middle, and then you can go low or high. I believe it's 20 watts on the low, and then the full 40 on the high. There's a manual loop switch that you can put the effects loop on and on. There's a foot switch that comes with that would do that as well. Now the secret with this amp, and I'll talk about this more later, is the master volumes. There's 2 master volumes, and one for the clean channel, one for the dirt channel. The secret to this amp is you have to have those master volumes cranked. Otherwise the amp it sounds a little bit thin. So you've got the 2 reverbs for the classic and the ultra, the 2 channels. There's a resonance, which is basically a low end. It'll give you a little more bottom. There's a presence, which will give you a little bit of top. There is a tone shift. You can see that. Now the tone shift, what that does is it basically gives you a little bit of a mid scoop. Okay, so it moves your frequency peak from mid, bottoms it out a bit. Then you got your bass, middle, treble, and it's a shared EQ. And there's your dirt channels. So you've got gain and then an ultra gain, and then you've got a clean and then a clean crunch. All right, I'm on the clean channel right now. I've got the gain of the clean channel at about 12 o'clock. I've got all my EQs at noon. I got my reverbs at noon, and I have my masters both on full, and I'll talk about why I do that in a little bit. So this is what your clean sounds would sound like on a Les Paul. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank the gain on the clean channel to full and let you hear what that sounds like. Alright, now I'm going to try the dirt channel. Actually before I do that, sorry, let me go to the crunch. So let me put the crunch on, which is I guess the second channel of the clean, if that makes any sense. So pressing that button in, You see that we went to red there. Hopefully you can see that. So now we're on the crunch channel. I'm going to start that at 12 o'clock with the gain. I'm going to take the crunch channel gain and I'm going to put that at full now, and let's give that a try. So with that crunch channel, you can get like a nice, I would say like maybe a bluesy tone, maybe a little like a rock tone. But what you might want to do is, it does tend to brighten up a little bit, so you might want to turn that treble down a touch. Alright, so now I'm going to move over to the gain channel. So I'm in the OD1 right now. So overdrive 1, there's again 2 levels of dirt here. I'm on the first level, the lower level. I've got the gain right now at 12 o'clock. And let's see what that sounds like. Alright, now I'm going to crank the gain on that. So this is the maximum drive. This is the maximum drive that you can get on the first overdrive channel. Here we go. So that's the overdrive 1 fully cranked. Now I'm going to put the gain back at 12 o'clock, and this is the overdrive 2. So this is the highest gain available on this amp. Well, not the highest, I'm at noon, but we'll start at noon and then I'll go full. So here we go. Kind of like that. It sounds pretty cool. Okay, now I'm gonna crank. This is the highest. Oh, you can hear it sizzle. This is the highest gain that this amp can put out. Here we go. was pretty good. Okay, so I'll back that off a bit. I'm gonna go back to the clean channel. Okay, I'll put it on with the crunch crank, and I'll show you why I leave the masters full. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back off the master. Okay, and instead I'm gonna crank the channel volume. Okay, and then you can hear, well, let me start, do a quick comparison. So I'll go back to cranking the master, and then I'll play a little bit with this, and then I'll turn the master down and crank this one, and you'll hear the difference immediately. So it isn't as aggressive as in your face, I find, when you turn the master down. So it's a lot more punchy with the masters full and using the individual channel volumes, in my opinion, but it's really up to you. All right, last thing I want to do, I'm going to grab a Strat, and I'll do some quick stuff with the Strat so you can hear what it sounds like with a single coil. Alright, I got the Strat here, so I'm just going to go through all the clean tones with the Strat in all the positions, and I'll put a little bit of crunch on it. Alright, so here we go. So there you have it. Got tried all the potential sounds out of the amp with the Les Paul. You heard a little bit with the Strat. I've had the amp now for a couple weeks. I think it's incredibly good. Gigged with it twice already. It sounds great. It really projects well. It's very punchy. Again, keeping those masters fully cranked. The only downside I would say about that amp is it does weigh 50 pounds, so it's a little bit heavy. But at the price point, and that amp in Canada is $849 before tax. So at that price point, I don't think I don't think from what I've seen out there, there's anything nearly as good as this amp at that price point in an all-tube amp. So, which is why I bought it. That is actually my second DSL, because I had the previous version to this amp for about 7-8 years, and I actually sold that to buy this one because I like the new features on it. I like the line out. It can go directly into the interface here, and it sounds great. And you know, I like the 2 master volumes, and I like the speaker. I think the speaker sounds really cool on it. So there you go. So hopefully that give you a little bit of insight into this amp. Hope you enjoyed the review and the demo, and we'll catch you soon. Rock on. Cheers.